Hi there, Sanjay Gangal from ADA Cafe. I'm here with Andrew Scheuermann, CEO of Arch Systems. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Andrew. Can you start by telling us about Arch Systems?
Arch is AI guided actions for manufacturing. So we help operators fix downtimes, deviations, and defects in the factory. We do this by pulling information out of machines and MES systems and even having operators share their expert knowledge and turning those into these alerts, these guided actions that help them improve their mean time to repair.
Okay, and how does AI play a role in this scenario?
Yeah, it plays a critical role. So first in the data collection, we collect data without AI. We write to lots of APIs and integrations, but we increasingly use AI to collect data as well. We recently announced a breakthrough where we use AI to literally look at the dashboards, for example, of a machine, like a human does, like take pictures, screenshots, or video and look at it and understand it. So that's the first place AI comes in, is it augments traditional technologies to even pull data into the system. And then, of course, once data is in our system, we structure it without AI into a well thought out digital twin. Like this is how the factory actually works. But then we will use AI kind of at the end of the product again to help us look through the massive amount of data we have and find the root cause and guidance of a given issue. So, just for example, say we're in a semiconductor factory doing chip packaging, and there's been a downtime of the line. And so we want to have we have information, let's say, on a wire bonding step and on a test step and others. And we want the AI to look through all of this information and automatically say, what's the root cause and what do you do
Hmm.
about it?
Okay, and you work across different types of electronics manufacturing, from circuit boards to chip packaging and full system assembly. Can you share a specific example of how Arch optimizes the manufacturing process from chip to box and even beyond?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, this is a really exciting part of the manufacturing space. Historically, I think in really advanced technology, there's been a focus on the fab itself, TSMC and global foundries and these types, but there's increasing focus on advanced technology and semi-packaging and what's called SMT, surface mount, through hole, and box build. So say, for example, that we're building a server that's going to go into a data center for AI, right? There's interest in optimizing each part of this chain to the final product. So Arch, makes sense on an individual process. Like let's say you have an SMT line. That's the part of the process where the chips are already finished, but there's a robot that's really rapidly grabbing that chip, grabbing that resistor, and placing it on the board. And so for that specific process, we have a great system that identifies, oh, there's a downtime. It looks through the data of the solder printer and the oven and the pick and place machine, and it identifies you're having a downtime because of these exact error codes on the placement robot, and you need to recalibrate the camera, right? So we could be doing things like that individually on the SMT machine. We could be doing it in the semi-packaging part. We could be doing it in the final assembly. And the direction that this is going is more in what people call the digital thread or the digital continuity, where you could also have AI play a role across the different steps of how something is built. And obviously, in the step beyond that in the future, from design to the building of the different steps of the product to even its use in the field. The role we play in that is optimizing the factory part of it and then being able to provide a source of data and an AI ready interface for people that may be doing an analysis across that wider digital thread, if that makes sense.
Okay, so tell me more about this concept of digital thread and what advantage does this provide to manufacturers?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if people aren't familiar with this already, the digital twin, that word's often used. It could be a machine, a device, and like let's make a copy of this one thing. And the thread, in my experience, or the digital continuity, different words to talk about it, or the idea of the kind of the journey that the product takes from design across the manufacturing floor to the field and its use. And so, one example is you could think about an elevator, and an elevator is going to be built. Maybe there's a circuit board and the control panel, there's some metal bent. And then that elevator is going to be, when you go to the next hotel, you're going to get inside of it. And then it might get stuck and someone might have to service it. And if they have digital information about the design of the elevator, how it was built, the metal bent, the circuit boards, and from it in the field, they can analyze across that digital thread to best change the design, change how it's built, change how it's going in the field. And of course, the more advanced examples of this that that a lot of people are thinking about, like if you take a defense use case, you think about some really complicated thing like an F-35 fighter jet, and you think about how many subsystems, electronics, chips, metals, et cetera, go involved in that whole thing. And when that complicated product or end machine has an issue, literally today, it's torn apart. We're talking tens of millions of dollars just to find the defect and go back inside of it. And imagine a future where you have that entire digital continuity or digital thread that AI can help you go back through a complicated process of design and manufacturing and figure out exactly what's wrong. So that's a future that people are really looking forward to, that creates improvements across this entire chain, as opposed to only just in design or only just in this manufacturing step.
And you've been collaborating with Dassault Systems on virtual trains and AI. How does this partnership tie into the digital thread? And what impact do you see it having on manufacturing efficiency and predictive analytics?
Oh yeah, so we've had a number of blogs and joint webinar, and we were actually with Dassault at the Mobile World Congress not too long ago as well. And yeah, we did one recently on what they call the virtual twin and the digital continuity. So Dassault is such a company that has a real deep expertise in design and PLM, right? They have their tools like SolidWorks and Innovia and others that are used in this area. And then in the manufacturing space where we are, they have an MES called a Prizo, right? And so what we were talking about together was where Arch comes into that picture is we have this really deep ability to get the data out of machines in semi-packaging and electronics and combine it with the MES data of Prizo. And we were talking about exactly this, how with their tool set, they have many of the pieces needed for this entire digital continuity. And then we really bring the digital twin of the factory part to that allows you to combine these things. And there's a lot of exciting use cases around, EDA, here we are, EDA Cafe, but, design and factory specifically coming together. I could throw so many out, but just one, like even a small classic one that has to do with circuit boards. Circuit board designers know that if you put your chip too close to the very edge of the board, or too close to other components, or the solder pads, whatever, you can get conflicts in the factory, and it should be fine, but what if they put a little too much solder? What about they put not enough? Or what if the board flexes when it goes over the conveyor into the wave solder, and that causes a break at just that point? These are the small things that can be really important or interesting on a case-by-case basis when you actually see what's happening in the factory as it relates to the design that you thought was designed for manufacturing, DFM'd really well. How is it actually playing out? And can you actually in real time combine that information? So again, Arch day to day, we help manufacturers improve their downtimes and their efficiency. But strategically with our partners, it's really interesting how we can bring those insights to the next level, for example, for designers as well.
And you partnered with major EMS providers like Jabil, Plexus, and Flex. What are some of the key challenges they face, and why have they chosen Arch Systems as their AI partner?
Yeah, we put out a couple of press releases recently, a number of years ago, announcing our Flex partnership. There's another big one coming soon, and with Jabil, a big one coming soon, and press release maybe about a year and a half ago, and with Plexus as well. Yeah, those are three of the world's maybe 10 largest contract manufacturers, and Arch does some work in about 6 of the 10 largest ones. And they're key customer of ours, key collaborators. What do we do with them? So the big contract manufacturers have massive number of surface mount technology lines. So they're known for building circuit boards and boxes, a box build area. So this area that we specialize in, there's some of the biggest manufacturers in the world in this area. And they run on costs, as you may know, right? Contract manufacturer at the end of the day has a small material margin. They buy materials in bulk, they make a margin. They have a manufacturing margin if they really manage their costs effectively. And then sometimes they get involved in the design. They may have a design margin, right? But that manufacturing margin of like, did I actually keep my lines up? Did I minimize scrap? Is exceedingly important for them, right? And so if they have the latest AI that can bring their SMT lines up fast, if they can limit, these lines used to have 6 hours of downtimes, they've dropped to 2. For example, we did a webinar lately where we showed a site in China got a $2.5 million per year improvement, dropping the average downtime in their lines from about 6, 7 hours to 2 hours. And they did that by having these AI guided actions that I identify the downtime, I've told you what to do, and the team fixes it faster because they know exactly the material to get. They know exactly the maintenance technician to call who comes out with some guidance. So that's the core thing that we do for them. But I guess back to the prior conversation, there's certainly exciting things in the future as we're exploring the suppliers of these contract manufacturers that are bringing in, chips and other things, and also the customers of these contract manufacturers who are, the ones designing the AI server, the component for the jet, et cetera, who are also really excited by what can be done at the next plane of data, beyond only solving downtimes.
And what do you see as the most exciting breakthrough in AI for manufacturing today? And are there emerging trends or technologies that will redefine how factories operate in near future?
Yeah. So, now people are starting to talk about classical AI versus generative AI. It's kind of
Mhm.
funny that there's like an old AI and a new AI already, but there really is, right? Because the new AIs, like the chat GPTs, the talking ones, are just this profound breakthrough that are different from, the machine learning, that they're built on the same principles, right? But they're different in that they're pre-trained and they come intelligent right out of the box. And most manufacturers haven't really figured out how to leverage these large language models, like what powers ChatGPT, but they're doing a decent job with the classical AI, like collecting data and predicting, maybe temperature is going to get too high, so let's throw an alert. Most manufacturers are doing decent with that type, but not figuring out again how to leverage because they go, ChatGPT, is this a consumer tool? Do you chat with it? Do you throw all your data and you ask, how's my factory today, right? What do you
Mhm.
do with it? But I mentioned our core use case of what we do with it, which is we structure the factory's data and we let the generative AI look through it and say, what is really the root cause? Because that's what a human data scientist would have had to do. I would have had to take hours, and I've done this myself with our data, look
Mhm.
through and say, where is the root cause and understand these tools. That's exactly what manufacturers don't have enough of anymore. They don't have enough data scientists on their team. They don't have enough experienced engineers. And so the AI being able to act as a data scientist for them is extremely exciting. And then the other part that I mentioned just briefly at the beginning, I think really profound breakthrough is these multimodal AIs, which is the generative AI that can read your text, it can look at your video, it can look at the image, it can listen to you speaking, it can do all those in a single thought. That's the latest versions of like ChatGPT powered on 4.0's model, for
Mhm.
example. It's profound for the factory. We didn't realize this ourselves until maybe like 6 months ago, because think about in the factory, how many machines don't have a fancy API? You can't pull great data out of them, but they have a screen,
Mhm.
right? And a human goes in the factory and they go, let me look at the screen. And they press a button and they go, oh, I see the issue.
Mhm.
AI can do that too. Like it can go to the screen. If the machine is networked, it can take a video or a picture of it. It can click buttons and it can read the screen versus only the API. That is like profound breakthrough. And actually, at Apex this next week, I think it's Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. I'm giving a presentation in our booth if anyone wants to come, where we're going to show, we're going to be talking with some of our partners, an MES partner, Aegis, and a machine partner, Fuji. And we're going to be showing exactly how we used AI to look at Fuji's dashboards in their own system and pull out exactly a root cause 50 times faster and almost 1,000 times cheaper than it takes an expert human to click through their tools and like properly root cause a complex tool. So that is just it's so good it's almost scary, but it's extremely useful, right?
That is pretty impressive. That is pretty mind blowing.
Yeah.
And what is the best way for our audience to find out more about our systems on the internet?
Yeah, well, if you're at Apex, come by our booth. We'll include the number and the follow up here in that 3:30 p.m. talk. Come to our website for sure. So it's archsys.io, archsys.io, stands for Arch Systems. And reach out. Anyone's welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn, say hello, and just have a friendly conversation too.
Okay, and there has been a series of people walking by behind you. Are these all Art Systems employees, or you're sharing
Dallas,
space with?
yeah, we have a team of about 80 professionals in 10 different countries around the world. So
Mhm.
we're headquartered in Palo Alto, yeah, in a really cool space here. We have a factory in the corner with CNC machines and whatnot. And yes, there are a couple other investors. So I'm in Palo Alto, Silicon Valley here, where we started the company. And no, so not everyone you saw are Arch employees. We usually have, maybe 5 to 10 team members here, and our other 80 are, and again, 10 different countries around the world. We don't have time for here fun history, but we were distributed remote before COVID because it wasn't about, work from home, you have to. It was about how do we get close to our customers, even when we were very small. So.
That's very cool. And Andrew, can you share something about yourself that most people at Art Systems who work with you don't know about you?
Wow. Okay. Most people at Arch don't know about me. Um, well, some of them know this, but not all, is I have my favorite sport is fencing. So a foil and an épée fencer. And yeah, when I was in college age, I was the uh, Division II North American champion. And then I
Mhm.
still do it for fun. My old self might beat my current self. I'm like 15 years or so older than I was then, but I still have a lot of fun fencing. So.
Okay, and yeah, I should have asked this first question first. Maybe this leads to the same answer. But what do you do for fun outside work, or what is your personal passion?
Well, I already said fencing. So, I mean,
Yeah.
um, I have I mean, I have to give my family answer. I've got two wonderful kids, an incredible wife. So, raising kids and a family is honestly a lot of my life right now. It's like this company Arch is my baby, and then I have two human babies. They're absolutely wonderful. And fencing, and honestly, like AI is, it's a core of what we do at Arch, and I live here in Silicon Valley. Like it's just like AI is in the water. People are eating it for lunch, drinking it, it's just absolutely everywhere. So even kind of in my non-work space, like just yesterday, I mentor and coach new entrepreneurs that are getting started. I started before Arch, a nonprofit that has helped 1,000 entrepreneurs and channeled more than $200 million of investment into other new companies. And so yesterday I took some time to coach a bunch of new people on their ideas, which about half of them tend to be AI related these days, but half not. And that's a ton of fun to just see the latest stuff coming out and help other people get their things going. So.
Okay. Yeah. Final question, Andrew. Cats or dogs?
Cats. I grew up with cats, but I actually have two bunnies at home. So that's my pet at the moment.
Or two bunnies at home? Now, how old are they?
Let's see. My wife got them, but I like them too. Let's see. And the kids like them, of course. I think they're like 9 months old at this point.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Andrew, for taking time to record this interview. Have a great day and stay safe.
You too, Sanjay. Take care. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, this is Sanjay Gangal from EDA Cafe.